Hi everyone, in this video I will be guiding you on how to fault find with LORIOT. LORIOT is a LoRaWAN network server you can access in order to visualize the data your gateway and sensors are producing. You are also able to see how frequently your devices are sending data, which will vary from device to device depending on the configuration. Throughout this video I will cover things like how to troubleshoot your gateway and sensors if there are any issues with them. This can be useful if your gateway is not showing us online for some reason or is randomly disconnected. So in section 1 of this video I'll be discussing applications. Applications is where your sensors would be. So let's click on a sensor for this video. Right, so this is a solar panel sensor. And you'll see things like RSSI, SNR, and GW. GW would be just a gateway that the sensor is connected to. The RSSI indicates the signal strength of the device, and the SNR would be the signal to noise ratio measured in decibels. So let's say if your sensor isn't performing at its best, consider looking at the RSSI, because if it's quite low, the best thing to do is move the sensor to a location closer to the gateway it is connected to for the best connection speed and the best signal strength. And if you go on the statistics section, you can see things like your traffic history, your hourly device uplink count, and you can see the overall consistency of the sensor. And the radio history as well. Again, it mentions RSSI here as well, which would be the signal strength of the device. So if this is quite low and the values aren't quite consistent, consider moving this sensor to a better location, closer to the gateway. The SNR would be the signal to noise ratio of the gateway, of the sensor, sorry. So after checking the statistics of the sensor, I would then go on to click on the logs section, would be here. So here on the log section you are able to view the various messages that the sensors are sending depending on the status of the sensors and any errors if they have any. This section of LORIOT is very useful as you can usually find what is wrong with the sensor, so you can even filter by the dev UI here, which is quite useful. Say for example you have 100 sensors and there's about 2 or 3 of them with an error. You can easily filter by the dev UI and it'll only show you the messages of that very sensor. Moving on to the network section of LORIOT. This is where your gateway is visible and showing online, but for whatever reason, let's say it is offline due to an issue that we don't know of. So we'll go on to the network section, which would be here. So you go back to dashboard, then networks, and then you can click on a network which will have a gateway inside it. So this gateway is currently showing online, and to troubleshoot your gateway, first of all you go into the logs, which would be here, similar to the application section, and it is color coordinated, same as the applications, and it's quite useful because this is the first place you would come to when troubleshooting your gateway, as there'll be different messages that your gateway or sensor will display, and normally it will show you the error. So if it's critical, if it's just a normal error, a warning, a notice, or is some information that you'll need to know. After checking the logs, it will also be useful to click on the alert section. On the alert side of LORIOT, you can receive notifications on different types of information regarding the gateway. For example, in the latency section, you can trigger an email if the gateway reaches a certain level of latency. And latency would be the delay of the gateway receiving information. So the higher the latency, the worse. The lower the latency, the better. And you would really check latency when the gateway is connected via cellular, as latency is more likely to occur than running wired, as obviously running wired connection is much faster than a SIM card. After checking the alert section regarding latency, you can go onto the systems setting here, and this is more of a visual representation of the uptimes in minutes and the latency. So as you can see here, it's not very consistent, which would suggest that there's an issue with the SIM card that's in this gateway. and there's load and memory history as well, all visualized. Lastly, I will cover the documentation section here, which will be on the top right. Clicking this eye icon, documentation, and you click go to documentation down here. And if you go on the frequently asked questions, there's plenty of information here for someone that is not too familiar with LoRaWAN technology or gateways. So there's even a user documentation here for quite a lot of things, so WebSocket applications, device templates, payload codec. So I would definitely give this a look as well if you're not too familiar with the technology. And that is the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching, and for any inquiries about LORIOT or getting started with IoT, please contact us at contact@alliot.co.uk or visit our website www.alliot.co.uk. Thank you.